With a new season of Riders Republic right around the corner, we think it's only right to jump on that hoverboard hype train. Let's get into what we think is to come. All aboard for the Riders Report.
Before we get started today, we want to recognize our existing YouTube members. A special thank you goes out to executive producers Bone Crusher 2D, Coach 34, and my mom, and our fans and Fans Plus.
If you'd like to become a member for as low as 99 cents a month and help support our channel, you can hit join below to learn more about perks like early access to the Riders Report, emojis and badges, a members only video per month, sneak peeks, and more.
Over on Twitter, Riders Republic posted that in the new season, the freestyle snowmobile will get some improvements, and they posted a teaser video asking if we're able to notice the changes. Do you see anything in this?
I mean, other than the snowmobile being painted in the Formula One Golf McLaren livery from last year, no, I mean, it does look lighter. These tricks look a whole lot easier to pull off, a lot more rotation, a lot more control.
It looks smoother, especially the transition from riding to the trick when it comes off. It's like a very smooth going into the trick and coming back. Rotation looks a little bit better, and of course the color McLaren. But is that a new color? I don't remember that being there, so maybe we're getting some more skins.
We'll have to wait and see.
If you missed it last week, Riders Republic posted a community update over on Reddit and on their website. We covered all of that last week, but this week we want to talk about what we think they're going to do with the hoverboards.
Yeah, like Mitch said, today we are going to dive into two specific sentences that were included in last week's community update for the upcoming season of Riders Republic. Let's read those through one more time. Did someone say hoverboard? Snow, dirt, and even water. Everything is your playground with this board. Can you imagine all the cool gravity-defying tricks you can do? Because we can, and they are all over the board. All right, so there are a couple elements in here that are going to separate the hoverboard from any other sport in the Republic. We've seen some pretty funkies, but this one is literally going to defy gravity. So that opens up a whole can of worms as to what we can expect.
Yeah, now the first thing I'm thinking, because we already have the snow skate, which lets you go all around snow, kind of like a snowboard, and similar to how you'd ride a hoverboard. They've stayed away from the skateboard for now. So with a hoverboard, do you think we'll be able to actually go up into the air? Like go higher and higher and higher? Or is it, I think, more Back to the Future where it rides around a certain range off the ground and you might get some bounce when you're landing, but other than that, it has to stay maybe a foot off the ground?
Yeah, I'm thinking you're going to relatively stay close to the ground. But like you said, whenever you hit jumps, you may have some ridiculous amount of airtime. You know, and it might also be like height depending. If you go off a little ramp in Area 52, it might plop you down faster than, say, you know, sending it off of, I know it's not in the game, but like Mont Blanc or, you know, some massive mountain peak like you're in Yosemite, just sending it over a cliff. You might get a little more like, you know, Looney Tunes airtime where you kind of just keep going before your ride starts to descend. I don't know.
I don't think we'll get it, but I would love to see the ability to actually take off on the hoverboard and ride higher. So it mixes between a wingsuit and a snow skate, or a rocket wingsuit and a snow skate. So you can ride on the ground, but then maybe if you click on a certain button, it kind of toggles the mode to where you are actually flying around. Because that could lead to some really cool tricks where you don't have to switch to the wingsuit and switch back, where you'll get ones you can hit some rails and then go off a jump, fly through the air a bit, go through a chairlift, and then come back down for a landing.
It's like those windsurfers when you see them jump like entire islands and they're just like holding on for dear life. That's kind of the energy that I'm getting from what you expect this to be. That is some James Bond. There's some James Bond tomfoolery that you are predicting for it. And honestly, I'm here for it. They could go in any direction with a hoverboard. I mean, that is such a broad term, But hover and rocket do seem to be two different things. With all of the rockets that we have in the game, we have wingsuits, we have skis, the rocket bike. Those things do have that traditional propulsion. So I'm wondering if we will get, something that does fly as a board in the future, but I don't know if it's going to be the hoverboard. I think it's going to stay relatively close to the ground with minimal. Now, the gravity defying, though, maybe it clings to walls.
Ooh.
Maybe it clings to walls. And maybe that is just, in certain areas. Maybe it's Area 52 or, say, oh, this wall has green checkerboard on it. That means you can ride it. Something that, denotes that you can ride certain walls through the ridge. But I would like to see some really long wall rides. That would be really cool, too.
I do think that it will be more like the snow skate. I almost feel like this is how they... I don't know if they go with skateboard after they add this. If that makes sense. I think skateboard's very limited with the terrain we have in the game right now. You're stuck to roads in some parts of the city. Mm-hmm. So we got the snow skate, which covers the snow side. I think this will be kind of the skateboard for all intents and purposes because you can use it everywhere.
Yeah, I know in the beginning we talked about having a skateboard and how awesome that would be in the game. But the longer we've had the game, and I mean, let's be real, Tony Hawk Pro Skater came out, right around the same time Riders came out. So if you tie skateboarding into this game, that is a completely different genre of extreme sports riders. That is a complete left turn in the X Games. You have the winter and you have the summer. You have BMX, which can kind of fold into this game. They've already done it with the bikes and the boards, but skateboarding is its own complete monster. So that is, again, sorry, I'm using it again. It's opening up a whole can of worms if you do bring skate culture into the game. But I think these are very smart ways to kind of get around actually calling it a skateboard. You have the snow skate and, oh, it's the same size as a skateboard, but it acts as a snowboard. And, oh, you have a hoverboard, which we should talk about what size we think this hoverboard is going to be as well. Because it could either be like a longboard size or it could be, like the snow skate, like you said. I'm kind of picturing something in between, like a cruiser, not as big as a snowboard, but maybe, I don't know, 6 inches, 10 centimeters off of each foot on the outsides of the bindings.
Okay. I'm thinking more skateboard size for this. Okay. Like exactly Back to the Future. We already had some of the references with the outfits, I feel like. So I just think they'll go in that direction unless we get custom lengths. But when I think hoverboard, I think skateboard of the future.
How sick would it be to have a Back to the Future DLC where they like actually partner with, what is that, Warner?
I don't think they'll partner. I think they'll, do the knockoff version where we get very
it's a pink
similar
hoverboard.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get, a slightly different, maybe a Shack Daddy Bandit version of Doc. So it's a lab coat, but it's all funky.
I was going to say a futuristic jacket, a futuristic hat, a holographic hat. Yeah. There's a lot that they could skirt around the Back to the Future vibe, but that is kind of, when I think hoverboard, that is the first thing that my mind jumps to is Back to the Future and that pink, green, yellow, pink, blue hoverboard. So I will be interested to see what the color scheme is as well.
I do wonder, so comment below like what you first think of hoverboard, because I'm wondering I know that movie's still around and popular, but with a generation gap, I wonder if there's a different hoverboard they associate when they hear that word.
No, that's true. That would be very interesting to see. Yeah, please comment down below what you envision as a hoverboard when you just hear the word. Now, the water. Mm-hmm. This is something that has been implemented in certain places of the map in Riders Republic. Obviously, you can ride in creeks and streams, but not over the massive bodies of water. And that is the same as steep as well. You could never touch these big bodies of water. Do you think they're referring to the creeks and streams, or do you think that we're going to be cruising over the bodies of water in the game?
When I first saw this, I thought we would be going over the the big bodies of water that as soon as you touch, you restart right now.
Right.
But I'm not sure when you bring that up because most sports slow down in the rivers. Mm-hmm. And I would hope that the hoverboard goes faster.
It shouldn't.
But there's also a lot of rocks that are hard to avoid. And if the hoverboard's riding low, it's not going to still do well. I mean, you can cruise. It would actually be very cool to try and hoverboard down some of those creeks.
Yeah.
If they do the big bodies of water, it'll be interesting if it's a whole physics change to how the water reacts, because you'll have to have some sort of wake or spray whenever you're over it. Or if it is simply just like riding a wingsuit a couple feet above the water where you can do it, but you can't really do anything cool.
Right. Yeah, that was my next thing, is I was envisioning, they may not bring water sports into Riders Republic ever, but the hoverboard may be something that we get that is the closest thing to it. Maybe we have events. Maybe we have races on big bodies of water with tiny little jumps. And again, nothing extreme, nothing crazy, but maybe that is an area of the map where the hoverboard is going to shine, and they're going to have like the stunt plane racing. I'm talking about the airplanes, that Red Bull racing over the water. Maybe it's something like that, like the adrenaline pack from Steep, where you're really racing through these pylons on the water. This thing is absolutely hauling because it's the only thing that can go on water. I don't know. There is so much that they could do with this hoverboard that would make sense with a hoverboard. That is one of the keys of making a fictional sport, bringing a fictional sport into the game. You can do whatever you want. It's like Area 52, there's aliens. Sure, you can do whatever you want. It's not a national park. It's not a landmark. They just built it and made it up. I really like the direction that this sport is bringing the game. But again, my fear is that we will be dipping too far into the arcade side and less about the realistic and the actual riding, the traditional sports.
I do think it'll be very important to watch how the hoverboard works with water, because if they do change the physics, I think that has to mean that there are more water sports coming, because you don't do that just for a hoverboard.
Correct.
That's going to be used 90% elsewhere. So if they change anything about the water, that could be a good sign of things to come. If they don't, then we're still getting a cool hoverboard.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah. Whatever it turns out being, it's going to be a blast. It is going to be a fun. It was meant to be a toy. It's meant to be something that is enjoyed. It's not, as far as we know now, not meant to be the most competitive sport on the map. So again, let us know what you think down below. What do you think the hoverboard's going to look like? What do you think we're going to get when they're talking about hoverboarding over water? And what are you looking forward to outside of the hoverboard in the upcoming season of Riders Republic? Again, if you have not checked out that new community update, you can watch our video from last week. You can also click the link down in the description and read it yourself.
We just have one clip in the Riders Roundup this week, but it is fantastic. It comes from Zerk Gets Focused. It's an X Games montage of the best clips in Riders Republic, and it features amazing commentary from the two of us, and that's his words in the description.
Hey, look at that. Thank you so much, Zerk. And thank you for joining us for episode 66, Le Magnifique, of our first 100 guaranteed episodes. A special thanks goes out to our YouTube members, executive producer Bone Crusher 2D, Coach 34, and Mama Bell, along with co-producers and Fans Plus.
And if you also want to become a member, it helps support the channel and lets us get some cool things for our videos. You'll get early access to the show, emojis, badges, a members only video, and much more. And if not, just hit subscribe and you'll catch all of our Riders Report episodes coming out every single week, and whatever else we have, including the Tartiflight games.
Yeah, get ready. We have some awesome content lined up in the wings for the next month or so, but you will only be able to watch that first when it comes out if you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching another episode. We'll see you back here, same place, same time next week for episode 67. I'm Nick.
And I'm Mitch.
And we'll see you on the slopes.